How do you get better aim in CS2? What is your aim routine? How did you become so good? These are all questions that I get asked quite often by my Twitch chat or even in my YouTube comments, and today we're going to be answering all of them. First off, my aim routine is pretty long, but you can scale it down pretty easily. So I usually do about 20 minutes of aimbots, then I also add some deathmatch on top, and I also do some Kovacs. Today we're just going to be focusing on the aimbots part, but if you want to know more about how to properly play deathmatch to improve, let me know in the comments and I will also make a video on that. Now, if you don't know what aimbots is, it's a workshop map. I'm gonna leave a link to it in the description, but I'm assuming most of you will have heard of it. The first and most important thing is that you should value consistency over volume. So basically you should make your aim routine an amount of time that you can commit to every day, rather than doing like a 2-hour session once a week. Now, once we're in aimbots, we're gonna disable 2 of the directions so we just don't have to spin around as much. And I also like to disable these walls because they're in the way. We're also gonna give the bots helmets. And now for the most important setting, we're gonna enable uneven ground, which basically will put all the bots at different heights. The point of that is that we don't wanna only practice our horizontal aim, but we also wanna have vertical aim in the mix. Now we're gonna start out with the AK. And we're gonna get 300 kills. Now remember, you can just scale this down to whatever amount of time you have. So you can do 100 kills or 150. Just find something that works for you. But I'm gonna do 300 kills. And we're gonna do them in a very specific way. We don't want to just stand around and tap people while standing. While that helps you aim, we wanna practice actual in-game situations. So we're gonna be moving around a lot. And we're gonna focus on counter-strafing between each kill. So you can do bursts, you can do taps, you can even do spray transfers. The important thing is that you move a lot between kills and that you focus on hitting your counter strafes. In general, you should be focusing on accuracy over speed, but we also want to go fast enough so it becomes actually challenging for you. So try to find a good balance between going slow enough to the point where you actually hit, but still go fast enough so it's actually challenging for you, so we see some actual improvement. Now once you're done with that, we're gonna move on to the M4. Now obviously if you play A4, you should do 300 kills of A4, and if you play A1, you should do 300 with the A1. But if you tend to play both or you just switch a lot, just do like 150 with each. And we're gonna do it pretty much the same way we did with AK. So lots of movement, lots of counter strafing, mixture of bursts, sprays and tapping. And just gonna do 300 kills with that as well. Again, you can just do less if you don't have as much time. Just stick to an amount once you found what the perfect amount is for you. And then just commit to that every day if you can. Now once you're done with the A4, we're gonna move on to the DEAGLE. And now you might think 300 DEAGLE kills seems like a lot, and it is. It definitely takes a while, but I think it's very much worth it because the DEAGLE rewards the most important fundamentals like counter-strafing and first bullet accuracy the most. And it also punishes you the most if you don't have solid fundamentals. Now for the DEAGLE, we obviously want to be moving a lot as well, because we are in CS2 after all, so moving a lot between shots is very important. And if you have to slow it down a little bit on the DEAGLE, because obviously it's a bit more difficult than with the rifles, then just go a bit more slowly. And if that still takes too long for you, you can just do less of only the DEAGLE kills, maybe just scale that down to like 100. I also like to do this drill where I lock onto a bot's head and then basically just move around a lot and then end it with a counter strafe. Just to practice the counter strafes specifically a lot more. Now this is obviously going to take even more time, so You don't want to be doing this on every kill, but in between sometimes try to do this drill as well. Now remember, if you're crouching, you can shoot a bit faster, and obviously you will not have to counter strafe. I think this is also valuable to practice, but don't overdo it, and also focus on counter strafing. Now once you're done with that, you should be sitting at around 900 kills. And for the last 100, it kind of depends on if you are an AWPer. Now if you are an AWPer, you obviously want to pick the AWP. And we're going to do the last 100 kills with the AWP. But we're still gonna focus on moving around a lot and counter strafing and moving just like we did with the rifles. But also we want to do a bunch of the kills with flicks, because obviously as an AWPer you will have to flick a lot and you will have to practice flicks. Now what I recommend doing is that you try to practice your flicks from literally every direction. So not only like horizontal flicks, but also vertical, some diagonal ones. In an actual game you will have to flick from any direction, and it is worth practicing those flicks. I also recommend to practice quickscoping a little bit, because in my opinion quickscoping is the better choice than no-scoping in most situations, and it requires quite a bit of timing on the counter strafe and the shot, so practicing it is very beneficial. Now if you don't AWP, you can do the last 100 kills with a weapon of your choice. I usually recommend to do it either with the FAMAS or the Galil. You can also split like 50 and 50 if you want to, because those two are like the most commonly used weapons that are not the ones we already practiced. And you want to be doing these last 100 kills basically the same way you did with any other rifle. So focus on movement, burst, spray, tap. Obviously with guns like the Galil and the FAMAS, spray transfer are going to be a bit more difficult, because you are not going to be as practiced on those as with the AK and the M4, and that's exactly why we're doing this. If you want to pick up Galil, you just have to enable this wall again, because all of the guns are on this wall, so just enable it really quick and then disable it again to get a Galil. Now again, this whole thing takes me about 20 minutes depending on how many drills I do and how fast I am on that specific day. So if that is too much for you, just try to find an amount that you can do every day, because as I said at the start, consistency is the most important thing about this. If you have any other questions about my aim routine, or just any questions in general, make sure to just leave them in the comments down below. Or even better, you can join my community Discord, which I'm gonna link in the description. And you can just ask me right there, or you can interact with the rest of my community. So yeah, this was my aim routine. I hope this helped you. If it did, be sure to subscribe and leave a comment, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.